Good morning, students. Today we will discuss here in this video the question paper of 2017. It is the question paper of Delhi and set first we will discuss in this video. It is equally important for both the classes for the 12th as well as the 11th class, because in this video we will discuss only the reading part and then after the writing part that include in both the syllabus in the class 11th as well as the 12th class. So this video is equally important to 11th also. So do carefully, watch the video carefully and write down the answers yourself. Let's start. Section A. First part, reading. Read the passage given below and answer the questions that follow. We sit in the last row, bumped about but free of stairs. The bus rolls out of the dull crossroads of the city, and we are soon in open countryside, with fields of sunflowers as far as the eye can see. Their heads all facing us. Where there is no water, the land reverts the desert, while still on the level ground we see in the distance the tall range of the Mount Bogda, abrupt like a shining prism laid horizontally on the desert surface. It is over 5,000 meters high and peaks are under permanent snow. In powerful contrast to the flat desert all around, Heaven Lake lies part of the way up this range, about 2,000 meters above sea level at the foot of one of the higher snow peaks. As the bus climbs the sky, brilliant before, grows overcast. I have brought nothing warm to wear. It is all down at the hotel in Euromaki. Rain begins to fall. The man behind me is eating overpoweringly smelly goat's cheese. The bus window leaks inhospitality but reveals a beautiful view. We have passed quickly from desert through arable land to pasture, and the ground is now green with grass. The slopes dark with pine. A few cattle drink at the clear stream flowing past moss-covered stones. It is Constable landscape. The stream changes into a white torrent, and as we climb higher, I wish more and more I had brought with me something warmer than the pair of shorts that have served me so well in the desert. The stream, which we are told rises in Heaven Lake, disappears, and we continue our slow ascent. About noon, we arrive at Heaven Lake and look for a place to stay at the foot, which is the resort area. We get a room in small cottage, and I am happy to note that there are thick quilts on the beds. Standing outside the cottage, we survey our surroundings. Heaven Lake is long, sardine shaped and fed by snowmelt from a stream at its head. The lake is an intense blue, surrounded on all sides, but green mountains walls dotted with distant ship. At the head of the lake, beyond the delta of the inflowing stream, is a massive snow-capped peak which dominates the vista. It is part of series of peaks that culminate a little out of view in Mount Bogda itself. For those who lives in resort, there is a small mesh hall all by the shore. We eat here. There is a small mesh hall by the shore. We eat here sometimes and sometimes buy food from the vendors outside who sell kebab and naan until the last buses leave. The kebabs cooked on spheres over the charcoal braziers are particularly good, highly spiced and well done. Horses' milk is available too from the local Kazakh herdsman, but I decline this. I am so affected by the cold that Mr. Cow, the relaxed young man who runs the mesh, lends me a spare pair of trousers, several sizes too large but more than comfortable. Once I warm again, I feel a pre-dinner spurt of energy. Dinner will be long in coming, and I ask him whether the lake is good for swimming in. Swimming? Mr. Cow says. You are not thinking of swimming, are you? I thought I might, I confess. What's the water like? He does not answer me immediately, turning instead to examine more some receipts with exaggerated interest. Mr. Cow, with great of headlessness, addresses the air. People are often drowned here, he says. After a pause, he continues, when was the last one? This question is directed at the cook, who is preparing a tray of mutton, and who now appears wiping his duffy hand across his forehead. Was it is the beijing athlete? Asked Mr. Cow. Now, we read the complete passage. On the basis of your understanding of above passage, complete the statements given below with the help of the options that follow. One benefit of sitting in the last row of the bus was that the narrator enjoyed the bumps. No one stared at him. He could see the sunflowers. He avoided the dullness of the city. What is the right option? Write down yourself. The narrator was traveling to Mount Bogda, Heaven Lake, a 2000-meter high snow peak, or Urumqi. Next question. On reaching the destination, the narrator felt relieved because he had got away from the desert. A difficult journey had come to an end. Third option, he could watch the snow peak. There was thick quilts on the bed. Next, Mount Bogda is compared to a horizontal desert surface, a shining prism, a constable landscape, the overcast sea. Next, answer the following questions briefly. You write down these answers yourself. Which two things in the bus made the narrator feel uncomfortable? Next, what made the scene look like a constable landscape? Next, what did he regret as the bus climbed higher? Next, why did the narrator like to buy food from outside? Next question, what is the ironic about the pair of trousers lent by Mr. Cow? Why did Mr. Cow did not like the narrator to swim in the lake? Next question, find words from the passage which mean same as the following. Sellers from the para 4th, increase from the para 7th. These are the answers. You should write down the answers first and then you will cross check your answers from here. Now, the second passage. Read the passage given below, answer the questions that follow. So, read the passage given below and answer the questions that follow. Thackeray reached Kittur along with a small British army force and a few of his officers. He thought that the very presence of the British on the outskirts of Kittur would terrorize the rulers and people of Kittur, and they would lay down their arms. He was quite confident that he would be able to crush the revolt in no time. He ordered that the tents be erected on the eastern side for fighting forces, and a little away on the western slope tents be put up for the family members of the officers who had accompanied them during the afternoon and evenings of 20th October, and the British soldiers were busy making arrangements for these camps. On the 21st morning, Thackeray sent his political assistants to Kittur Fort to obtain a written assurance from all the important officers of Kittur, rendering them answerable for the security of the treasury of the Kittur. They accordingly met Sardar Guru Sitapa and other officers of Kittur and asked them to comply with the orders of Thackeray. They did not know that the people were in a defiant mood. The commanders of the Kittur dismissed the agent's order, and no documents could be signed without sanction from the Rani Chemana. Thackeray was enraged and sent for his commander of the horse artillery, which was about 100 strong, ordered him to rush his artillery into fort and capture the commanders of the Desai's army. When the horse artillery stormed into the fort, Sardar Gustapa, who had kept his men on the full alert, promptly commanded his men to repel and chase them away. The Kittur forces made a bold front and overpowered the British soldiers. In the meanwhile, The Desai's guard had shut the gates of the fort, and British horse artillerymen, being completely overrun and routed, had to get out through the escape window. Rani soldiers chased them to fort, killing a few of them until they retreated to their camps on the outskirts. A few of the British had found refuge in some private residence, while some were hiding in their tents. The Kittur soldiers captured about 40 persons and brought them to palace. They included 12 children and a few women from the British officers' camp. When they were brought in the presence of Rani, she ordered the soldiers to imprison. For the women and the children, she had only gentleness and admonished her soldiers for taking them in custody. At her orders, these women and children were taken inside the palace and given food and shelter. Rani came down from her throne, patted the children lovingly, and told them no harm would come to them. She then sent word through a messenger to Thackeray that the British women and the children were safe, could be taken back any time. Seeing this noble gesture of the Rani, he was moved. He wanted to meet this gracious lady and talk to her. He even thought of trying to persuade her to enter into an agreement with the British to stop all hostility in Leal of Inam of 11 villages. His offer was dismissed with a gesture of contentment. She had no wish to meet Thackeray. That night she called Sardar Gustapa and other leading Sardars, and after discussing all the issues, come to the conclusion that there was no point of meeting in Thackeray, who had come with an army and threatened Kittur into submission to British sovereignty. Now, the passage is completed, and on the basis of your understanding of the above passage, complete the statement given below with the help of the options that follow. First question is, Thackeray was a British tourist, army officer, advisor of Rani of Kittur, or treasury officer. Second question, British women and the children came to Kittur to visit Kittur, enjoy life in tents, stay in palace, give company to officers. Next, move to some more questions. Why did Thackeray come to Kittur? And next, why did Kittur official refusing to give the desired assurance to Thackeray? Next question, what happened to the horse artillery? Next, how do we know that Rani was a noble queen? Next question, how in your opinion would the British woman have felt after meeting the Rani? Next, why did Rani refuse to meet Thackeray? Find the words from the passage which mean same as the following: entered forcibly, aggressive, refusing to obey. Now, I will show you the answers. You can see the answers and cross-check your answers, but write down yourself. You can only cross-check from here. In the next video, we will discuss some more questions. In today's video, it's enough and thank you. Have a nice day.